Okay, video got cut off, but here we go again. All right, so we draw this circle. It goes through, it should go through this point. It's a little bit off. Okay, I didn't do mine perfect, unfortunately. But what we would see is that the circumcenter, okay, is equidistant to the vertices. Okay? So if I was to look at the distance from the circumcenter to point C, okay, it would be the same as the distance from the circumcenter to point A, and then to point B also. All three of these would be the same distance. Right? So that's what the circumcenter is going to tell us. Alright? So, last thing. I want you to turn to page 305. Okay? I want you to look at the bottom of page 305. Guided practice number 4. Right? Guided practice number 4. It says, hot pretzels are sold from points A, B, and E. Right? Where could the pretzel distributor be located if it was equidistant from those 3 points? Okay? So, let's see. You're selling, you're making these pretzels. Okay, and you've got these 3 stores that you're selling them from, and you want your distribution center to be right in the middle of those 3. Okay? So, we just talked about how to find the circumcenter. Okay? The circumcenter is going to be the point that is equidistant from those 3 points. Right? You're going to have to do this on problem number 28 in your homework, so this is a good example. First thing we're going to do is we're going to connect these dots, and we're going to make this a triangle. Right? Connect the dots and make them a triangle. Okay? And we know that we're going to have to find the circumcenter. So in order to find the circumcenter, we are going to have to draw the perpendicular bisectors. Okay? So let's go back and look at our instructions for how we draw perpendicular bisectors. Okay? Number 1 is we have to find the midpoints. Right? So I'm going to measure, use a ruler, find the midpoint, use a ruler and find the midpoint, use a ruler and find the midpoint. Okay? So we're going to find the midpoints first. Second thing we're going to do is draw the perpendicular lines. Okay? So I'm going to get my ruler. Remember, I'm going to line it up with one of the lines and go until I get to the midpoint. All right? I'm going to draw that perpendicular bisector. Okay? I'm going to line it up with the line. Go here to this perpendicular bisector. I'm going to line it up with this line. Go here, perpendicular bisector. Right? I did this one a little bit better, and you see that that point right there, all 3 of our perpendicular bisectors intersect at the same point. That's the way it should be. Okay? So that point right there is where you would need to put your pretzel distributor so that you could be equidistant to this, to your store at point A, your store at point B, and your store at point E. Right? Alright, you are going to have to do that not only on problem number 28, but you'll have to do that on a test also. So, be good to practice. Last thing, I want you to look at the top of page 306. Okay, let me zoom out so we can see. Okay, too much. The top of page 306. Okay? Every triangle that we've dealt with today has been one of these acute triangles. Okay? And you notice when we have an acute triangle, the circumcenter is inside the triangle. Right? If we were to have a right triangle like this, you would notice that the circumcenter is on the hypotenuse. If we were to have an obtuse triangle, you would notice that the circumcenter is on the outside of the triangle. Okay? Outside. This is a good thing to remember. If you have an acute triangle, the circumcenter is in the middle, or inside the triangle. If you have a right triangle, it's on the hypotenuse. If you have an obtuse triangle, it's on the outside. All right? Well, that's all. That was quite a bit for 5.2. But remember, keep that list that has to do with points of concurrency, because we're going to add to it as we keep on going.